Okay, hello 6th years. This is a video to follow on from what you're doing for homework with the sine rule, okay? So here's a summary of what we know so far. We are looking at triangles and trying to find missing sides and missing lengths, right? So we've looked at SOHCAHTOA for a right angle triangle only, and now we've started looking at triangles that are not right angles. Now I know we looked at the area, but I'm going to separate that for a second, right? So when we look at issues regarding angles or lengths missing, we look at SOHCAHTOA, the sine rule, or the cosine rule, which we're going to do today, okay? So what we looked at with the sine rule was the relationship between the opposite side and the angle in the opposite corner, opposite side and the angle. So if we're looking for the side, missing side, we'd flip it round to have the letters at the top. Looking for the angle, we'd flip around to have the sign at the top, right? So quickly, just an example here to follow on. I'm looking for the angle here. I've got 3 bits of information. I need to get the 4th one, right? So I'm going to use this one, the flipped over version. I'm going to write sine A, which is what I want, all over 6, the opposite side, is equal to sine 38 over 8, okay, the opposite side. Multiply by 6 both sides, I get sine A is equal to 6 times sine 38 all over 8. So A is equal to the inverse sine of 6 times sine 38 all over 8. And you can actually type that in fully into the calculator like that if you want, okay? So second function, sine, open bracket, use the AB button, 6 times sine 38, isn't it? Yeah, 38 over 8, arrow across. Okay, so we know the angle A is 27.5 rounded to 1 decimal place there. Okay, so that's just a recap of what we did on Tuesday there, to be honest with you. Now, the problem is, this is why we need the cosine rule. So if we get a triangle and we're looking for information, try the sine rule first is what I suggest, because it's probably a little bit easier than the cosine rule, okay? And if you can't work it out with the sine rule, then go to the cosine rule. The scenarios where we can't use the sine rule are highlighted here, right? Focus camera. So for example, we only have one angle, okay, and let's say I wanted to find this side, right? So I'd put this over sine 40, but I don't know this angle, I don't know this angle, so I've got 2 bits of information missing for the sine rule, okay, so I can't use it. 1 second there. Okay, and it's the same thing for this triangle here, right? So if we get the 3 sides, we want to find an angle, let's say A. I'd write sine A over 9, but I don't have any other angle, so I can't make it work, right? So if we get this eventuality, when you try it out and the sine rule doesn't work, we need to use the cosine rule, okay? So this is in the tables as well, and all I'm going to do now is do 2 examples with you with the cosine rule. It's a matter of understanding where the letters go, etc. So here it is for our reference triangle that the camera shows. So if I have A, and this is in the tables as I said, C. So if I want to find A squared, or find A, it would be this length squared plus this length squared minus 2 times this length times this times cos of that angle. Okay, so again, you have, remember with the area we had that sandwiched angle. So we have this length, we have this length, and we have this angle in between. So that's this scenario here for my last example. So this length, and this angle in between. Okay. So when you get a bit more experience with these, you'll be able to spot it. So if I'm working this out, I'm just putting the right letter in the right place, okay? Just wait for it to focus this way. a squared is equal to, I'm going to call this b. So you can just type this in the calculator, I'll show you now. Plus 6 squared, c squared, minus 2 times 7 times 6 times cos 39. Okay. I'm doing one go in the calculator. 7 squared plus 6 squared minus 2, I'm going to use brackets. Okay, so a squared is 19.7197. I'm going to leave it as 4 decimal places because what I need to get is a. So I'm going to do the square root of 19.7197. Okay, so 4.44 to 2 decimal places. Check the question, see if it states which. I didn't say centimeters, so I'll just leave it as units. Okay, so that's it basically. So we have the sandwich side scenario. We can't use the sine rule because we don't have the information, so we go into the cosine rule. This is the last rule, so it's just a process of elimination really. Same thing here. If I keep the formula, so if I got question, this is page 412, question 21. That was 411 question 1i. I'm not going to finish this off, but I'll show it to you. It's going to be 8 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 8 times 11 times cos 32. Okay, and then we get the square root of that. Come on, camera. Okay, so for that triangle, yeah, so you see that this is another scenario, we've got a sandwich angle. So let's say now we get the different type, we want to find the angle here. So we've got 3 sides, and we want to find the angle. So let's try the sine rule. This is the thought process of the trial and error you should be doing as well. Remember, we can't use SOHCAHTOA because it's not a right angle triangle. So this sine A over 6 equal to 8 over don't know, 5 over don't know. So we don't have this scenario, right? So let's look at the sandwiched angle here. Okay, I know that this squared, so I know that if I just label these A, let's say B, C. Okay, and again, when you get the hang of these, you'll be fine, right? And the equation is a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. So what we do in this now, the thing we don't know here, in the previous 2 questions we were looking for the length, the thing we don't know here is cos of a. So let's sub in everything. So we know a, so we know 6 squared is equal to 5 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 5 times 8 times cos of a. Right, so let's tidy this up a bit. 36 is equal to 25 and 64, 89 minus 2 times 5 is 10 times 8 times minus 80 cos a. Then we're solving an equation, trying to make this the subject of the equation. Take away 89 from both sides. Okay, minus 53 is equal to, and we're left, if we take away 89, we're left with this minus here, don't forget, so we're left with this minus 80 cos a, divide by minus 80. Again, when you get the hang of this, don't worry too much about doing the brackets like I'm showing you working, so this is the method I want you to follow. Pause the video and go back to it if you get stuck. I get minus 53 over minus 80, negative over negative is positive, don't forget, it's equal to cos a, which means that a is equal to inverse cos 53 over 80. Okay. Second function, check your calculators in degree, second function cos AB 5380. Okay, so 48.5 degrees to the nearest degree, after to one decimal place. And that's it, okay? So that's all this information we have on this course for solving any triangle. Okay, the cosine rule and the sine rule also work for right angled triangles, by the way. So if you're enjoying these, or you think you're pretty good at them, you can use them for the right angled triangles instead of SOHCAHTOA if there's a way of doing that. However, what I'm going to leave you now on the Google Classroom is some work. First of all, there'll be some questions with just the cosine rule, and then there'll be some decision making. So decision making means try the sine rule first. If it doesn't work, use the cosine rule, because that means more than likely in that scenario you haven't got the information to use the sine rule. Okay, good luck guys, see ya.